Emotions. We all experience them. Some are amazing, and some are absolutely horrific. And they all drive us to do certain things when we're feeling certain emotions. But here's the thing that we tend to not understand about emotions. When an emotion arises in you, it is energy in motion. Emotion is energy in motion. These emotions are energy, and what they do is they come up and they move through you and they disappear. Notice how you're not still angry about that thing you were angry about yesterday. Maybe you are, but notice how you're not still happy about that thing that happened 3 weeks ago. Energy, emotions move through you. We are like a vessel. We are a conduit through which the river of life flows. And our job is to remain as an observer that stays completely opened, completely undammed to the flow of life. When you feel an emotion, happiness, sadness, anger, guilt, lust, shame, whatever it is, when you feel an emotion, the very presence of that emotion itself is it moving through you. The emotions don't want to stay. They don't want to remain stagnant. We are literally like a river through which life is flowing. These things don't want to stay within you. That anger that you're feeling, that depression that you're feeling, it doesn't want to stay there. But see, here's the critical thing that causes us to become stuck or sort of lodged, damned with these negative emotions trapped inside us. When we experience a negative emotion, rather than allowing it to flow through you, because what it means to allow the emotion to flow through you is to let yourself feel like crap in that moment. If anger comes up, let yourself feel in the full intensity that anger. Or when sadness comes up, allow yourself to feel that sadness in its full, sheer, raw power. We don't do that. What we do instead of feeling these negative emotions is we suppress them. We push them back down. We deny their very existence. We pretend that it doesn't bother us. Are you angry? No, I'm fine. Are you sad, man? Are you okay? Yeah, everything is awesome. You know, we live in denial. We push our feelings down. We try to outsmart our feelings. We try to outrun the very movement of this energy through us. But see, these emotions are moving through us in such an exquisite coordination with the flow of life. They're moving through us for a reason, and our job, like I said, is to allow these emotions to move. And when we're happy, when we're blissed out, when we're having a good time, when we're all filled with pleasure, that's easy to let it move through you. That's easy to stay completely open to. But then when you feel depressed, when you're despairing, when you're heartbroken, when you're angry, we get all weird and we deny it and we pretend it's not there. And we act like it doesn't bother us. And all that's doing is creating resistance. And man, when you resist life, you create more of the very thing that you're trying to get rid of. When you resist your sadness, you'll start to feel that it creates this oscillation effect where you'll feel more sadness because you're sad. When you resist your anger, you will feel in response to that more angry when you feel angry. When you feel anger, you'll get angry that you're feeling angry. You'll get sad that you're feeling sad. If you're filled with anxiety or panic, you will feel more afraid because you're afraid. You're afraid that you're afraid. And then you're afraid that you're afraid that you're afraid. All of this is born out of resistance, not flowing, not allowing. And so you can't blame us. We aren't taught these kinds of things in this culture. We aren't taught how to be holistic individuals. We aren't taught how to let life flow. When these emotions come up, they want to come up and they want to be seen. They want to be felt. And they might not be very pretty. They might not feel good, but it's showing up for a reason. It's trying to teach you something. These feelings that you're experiencing are trying to teach you something. The moment that you're able to allow, when you're able to allow the moment to be exactly as it is right now, you're that much closer to transforming it into your own growth. But when you fight against reality, when you fight against the moment, when you're filled with regret, when you're filled with denial, when you're filled with fear and resistance to the very experience of life that you're having, you're only creating more drag, more emotional, psychological drag against it. You can't move on because you're resisting it. And see, Carl Jung has the statement, what you resist persists. The more you resist yourself, the more those very traits that you're resisting continue to show up in your life. Now, what if the reason these things keep showing up, where it seems like you're perpetually stuck in a state of depression, feeling like everything's just hopeless and gray and meaningless and there's no point? Or you experience constant anger, everything's just frustrating, everything's just irritating. Or you feel like there's no meaning. Or you're constantly feeling anxious, like something's about to happen. Something bad is about to happen. What if the reason you're experiencing these things, or for yet another example, a constant negative inner narrative? What if the reason these things, you feel trapped in this cycle of negativity is because it's trying to teach you something? It's trying to teach you that you need to let go. You need to let it flow. It's trying to teach you a lesson that you're not paying attention to. Now, I look at this life as like a school. And when you were in school, there was a playground where you go out and you play for a little bit, but then you got to go in and you're in class, you know? And in class, you take lessons. And if you don't pass the lesson, you got to retake the lesson. That's how I feel about life, where when you don't get the point, the universe is going to keep serving it up to you again and again and again and again until you get the point. And the point, the lesson, is individualized to you in particular. Things will continue to arise in your life. They will continue to repeat in your life until you get the point. And oftentimes, the point, the teaching that is trying to be taught, a sort of overall generalized way of understanding it, is to let go. Stop fighting reality. Stop resisting your own heart. Stop resisting your own way of being. Stop trying to play God. To doubt your feelings, to push away your feelings, is to insult the emotional intelligence of your body. When you feel sad, sadness arises, whether it's from somebody leaving you or somebody dying or losing a job or just the state of the world, whatever it is, whatever reason you feel sad, if you think to yourself, I shouldn't feel sad, if I were more spiritual, I wouldn't feel sad, that is insulting the emotional intelligence of your body. Your body is way more wise than you give it credit for. Your body is tuned in to the flow of life. And these things are trying to come up. These things want to naturally be born, but we get in the way. It's like stepping in the river and damming it up and saying, nope, you're not supposed to flow. If I was spiritual, this river wouldn't be running, you know? If I was spiritual, only beautiful emotions would be flowing. That's nonsense, bro. That's not true. This life is a medley of all sorts of different states. And what we're here to do is to let it all flow. Because being here in this life, this is a huge journey. Like I said, this is a school. Your life, let me ask you this. What if every single experience you have, and every single person you have those experiences with, is a teacher. Coming in the form of a teacher to teach you a lesson that will allow you to tune in to who you're meant to be in this life. And all you need to do is let go. Let go and trust that this universe and you yourself are being carried by a deeper, more wise, intuitive current, an intuitive flow. You don't need to fight anymore. You don't need to stop the flow of emotions. You can stop doubting yourself. You can stop resisting. Let go. Because the moment that you let go is the moment that you start to trust nature and trust the flow of life. Nothing good has ever came out of pushing your feelings down. You ever noticed how you can be feeling, like I've experienced this. I was literally experiencing it today. I was feeling horrible inside. And I was with my coworker. And I thought, I'm not going to talk about this because I don't want to bother him, and it'll just be a bunch of trauma dumping, and I don't want to share all my stuff, and you know what I'm saying? I'm going to just keep it inside me. I'm going to just keep feeling like shit. And then it got to the point where, and in not sharing anything with him, I felt this sort of wall, this sort of isolating barrier, this boundary, where I'm over here alone in my pain. But then it got to the point where, my coworker, he's having a good time and he's laughing with me. And usually I'm in this very high vibration. I'm very humorous and fun and talking and passionate. But, today I was like really down in the dumps, And I'm playing the whole suppressing it game. Boy, I don't like this feeling. I shouldn't be feeling this. If I were more spiritual, I wouldn't feel this. And then it got to the point where I was like, you know what? I'm done with this, And I said to my coworker, I said, hey man, I feel like crap right now. And he asked me why. And I told him why. And we talked about it. And you know what? He lifted me up. He helped me out. And it wasn't even his words that helped me. It wasn't even what he was saying in particular that helped me. What helped me was opening. Opening the dam, dislodging the trapped gunk within me and allowing it to flow. Trusting that by letting it flow, it will alleviate. Why store it inside you? When an emotion comes up and you push it down, or you feel like you shouldn't feel it, and you pretend it's not there, and you pretend it's not bothering you, you're literally stuffing it back down inside you. You're all of literally keeping it within you for later. It's like going into a house and there's all this garbage in it. And you're like, why is there all this garbage in here, Because you're storing it in there. You're filling your body to the brim with negativity. And I can't stress it enough. When a feeling comes up, it is literally on its way out. Like I said, notice how you're not still in that high state you were in an hour ago or a day ago or a week ago. It flows. All flows. Life is change. That's the one thing you can count on is change. This too shall pass. We're so quick when something devastating happens to think, I will be forever sad now. I will never know happiness again. And we're also very quick on the flip side to think, once I get this, I'll be happy forever. I'll never experience pain again. That is such an elementary way of thinking, bro. And to go back to like the school analogy, that is an elementary way to think where once I get that, then I'll be happy. Or if something bad happens, I will never be happy again. I had this one really far out experience a few years ago. I was on acid and my dad was down in another state getting married. And my dad sent me this message, this picture of him with this woman I've never met that he's in love with. And it's him smiling next to this woman. And he said in the text, he said, everything is going to be awesome now. You know? Really enthusiastic, really happy. Well, guess what? They're divorced now. He hates her. And of course, in that moment, on acid, I was aware that what my dad just said is a complete load of nonsense. It's not true. No, everything is not going to be awesome now that you have a wife. That's such an elementary way of thinking. Now I will forever be happy. Life is a river. It flows. When a happiness leaf comes down the river, you grab onto it and you think, I'm happy forever now. But then comes anger, then comes sadness, then comes pain, then comes guilt, then comes lust, then comes all the stuff of life. Now see, in the river of life, it's not only just emotions, it's situations, it's experiences. Experiences are part of the river of life. And the way that you respond to those experiences is similar to the degree in which you respond to your emotions. Where if a challenging situation pops up, you fight it, you push at it, you push it away, you resist it, you deny it. If an amazing experience pops up, an amazing opportunity pops up, you grab at it, you cling to it. The Buddha calls this attachment and aversion. When something awesome pops up, you attach to it. When that thing that was awesome at first turns into something horrible, aversion, you push it away. Your pain is caused acutely by attachment and aversion. To every extent that you grab at something and push something away, suffering is born. When happiness arises and you want it to stay, you have the desire for the happiness to not go away, that is suffering. That will result in suffering. Because the happiness, in the very nature of the way it goes away. This is why happiness is different than peace. This is why happiness is different than contentment and presence. Happiness is like hunger. When was the last time you had a meal and then you were never hungry again? You were just full. I'm full, finally. Now, when was the last time you got happy and you were forever happy again? It comes and goes. It's this sort of roller coaster. It's this ebbing and flowing river of life. Happiness comes and we rejoice. And then when it goes, we say, see you later. Knowing that it's on its own, it's set on its own course. It's happening for a reason deeper than we can rationalize, deeper than we can understand. And this is where the faith comes in. When you start to realize, when you start to catch wind of the fact that life has your best interest in mind, and you may not be dealt the best card in life, but these things are happening for a deeper reason. These things are happening directly for your spiritual awakening. These things have directly to do with your spiritual transformation. When you start to realize that, you want to get out of the way and let it flow. You don't want to cling. You don't want to grab. You don't want to resist. You don't want to push it away. You want to live. You start to crave living in reality. And what it means to live in reality literally just means letting things be. Now, this doesn't mean being complacent. This doesn't mean just sitting around not doing anything. It means following the thread of excitement, following the course of nature. Have you noticed that you in a given moment will feel compelled to do a certain thing? You'll feel compelled to make a certain choice. You'll feel compelled to say no to something. Your actions arise out of this certain course that isn't The ego, you, the one watching this right now, the doer, is not the one who's setting that course. The ego is the course that's being done. There's something beyond the mind. There's something more spiritual. There's something more in harmony with nature that is unfolding this whole journey. But the ego, oh, I love pleasure and I hate pain, so I'm going to run after all the stuff that's amazing and try to friggin' suffocate it and hold on to it forever, and all the horrible stuff, I'm going to push it away and deny it and run from it and pretend it's not there. That is not in harmony with the flow of life. Wisdom is the ability to let things be, to let things flow. Life, we are divine conduits of consciousness. We are vessels that the river of life is flowing through. And all we gotta do is trust that river. Now I say that as if it's easy, but really it's not. You have to develop faith in this experience of life, and that's what spiritual growth and spiritual development is. But man, when you develop faith in life, you will begin to feel intuitively that what you're experiencing is for a deeper purpose, a deeper meaning. It's smarter than you think. Your body is smarter than you think. Your biological being is way more wise than you think. And when you start to realize that, when an emotion comes up, whether it's positive or negative, you're not going to want to push it away because you understand that first of all, it's coming up for a reason. And second of all, it's coming up because it wants to move through you. It doesn't want to stay there. The ego is the one who grabs and pushes, who pulls and pushes. The ego is the one who wants things to stay or go away. Your being, your essence, your soul understands that life is flow. Life is flow. So I really want to emphasize that to you. I know the feelings are horrible. I know that when I'm feeling down, when I'm feeling like crap, I want it gone. But who is it that wants it gone? The ego that is in search of pleasure. But when I'm in the throes of despair, of pain, of anger, of depression, of confusion, not knowing the next step, not knowing where to go, there's a deeper part of me that is aware that this state, that state of being, deserves its place in being present. It's there for a reason. And it's hard to trust reality when you feel horrible inside. But man, you're only going to make it worse if you try to pretend you don't feel it, if you try to run from it, if you try to outsmart it, you try to rationalize your way through it. You know, the common toxic masculine trait in this era where we don't feel our emotions and we push them away, and manly, you know, it's not masculine to feel sad, and it's not masculine to show my heart, and you know, all this nonsense. These feelings want to move. I made a video not too long ago called Let Yourself Feel, and I demonstrated how life is this flow of experiences, and we are like a vessel that holds the water, the flow of the water of life. And it gets to a point as a vessel of life where we begin to overflow from the river of life, from the flow of life. And see, in life we have different types of experiences, positive, negative, neutral, you know, whatever. And that paints the contents of our vessel of life. Paints it with good stuff, paints it with bad stuff, you know? And it's easy to stay open to the flow of life when it's a bunch of good experiences happening. But then when something bad happens, we feel this knee-jerk reaction, this inclination to close ourselves off from the flow of life. So we put the lid on the vessel of our being. But what we've done by doing that is not only cut ourselves off, sever ourselves from the flow of life, but now we've trapped all that painted inner experience within us. It can't go out. And if you think about it, the flow of the river of life is what causes you to overflow and causes that negative inner experiences and positive inner experiences to recycle, to clean out, to flow. So the art, and the reason I call it an art is because it's not necessarily easy nor obvious, but the art is to stay open to the flow of life. And all you got to do to begin the journey of staying open to the flow of life is when you feel something, let it be there. Now, this doesn't mean when you're angry, you lash out at somebody. There's a wisdom, there's a harmony in it, man. I know you know. It means that when you're angry, here we are. I'm angry. When you're sad, you let it be. You let yourself feel. And see, when you let yourself feel, something begins to change within you. You ever heard of the inner child? These emotions are coming from that inner child. And every time you resist or deny or pretend you aren't feeling what you're feeling, it's like your inner child walking up to you saying, this is how I feel right now. And you say, that's not true. That's not, go sit down. Your feelings aren't real. Your feelings aren't valid. You shouldn't feel like that. And so it's just storing all this trash within you. But when an emotion comes up and you let yourself feel it, you begin to reteach that inner child that its feelings are valid. It's right in feeling the way it feels, and it has the right to express itself. When a feeling comes up, you say, I feel you, I see you, and you're allowed to be here. I'm not going to play the big man and push my feelings away. I'm going to let myself feel, man. I'm going to do what feels right to me. I'm going to stay open and let it all happen and let it all flow. And what I've directly noticed from this is the relearning of that inner child. I'm starting to realize, I'm allowed to feel what I'm feeling. I'm not wrong for feeling sad. I'm not wrong for feeling angry. I'm not wrong for feeling confused and lost and not knowing what to do. Every time you push it away, every time you try to outsmart it, every time you think you shouldn't be feeling that, you're invalidating yourself. You're calling yourself dumb. These things are coming up for a reason. They want to be felt. They're coming up for a reason. They're there for a reason. They want to move through you. They want to teach you something. They want to teach you about flow. And nothing teaches you better about flow than realizing that you have to let go to let it go. You have to surrender for these things to move through you. Thank you all so much for watching. I really hope you guys enjoyed. And if you did, consider subscribing and leaving a like on this video because it really helps me out and it helps get this video recommended to more people like you. If you're feeling stressed, lost, anxious, restless, ungrounded, or anything in between, I highly recommend you go and check out my free 45-minute guided meditation that's available here on YouTube. This meditation is aimed towards tuning you back into your natural, authentic self. Something that is all too easy to lose sight of in this racy culture that we live in these days. Listening to this meditation will point you back towards your fundamental self. It will bring you back to the basics. It will bring you back to the effortless, natural self that you are, which is, as I said, so easy to lose sight of. And I can promise you that listening to this meditation will put you in a place of tranquility and will tune you back into the innate wisdom of your being. So again, if you're feeling stressed, restless, ungrounded, lost, or anything of that nature, go and check out this guided meditation, and I can assure you that it will at least tune you back in to your immediate surroundings and the tranquility and peace that is present in this moment. I will link this meditation right here in the video, and I really hope this helps, and I hope to see you there.